Muy buenas a todos gamers, bienvenidos a un nuevo vídeo, a un nuevo gameplay de Genshin Impact. Lo sé, estoy un poco pesado con el juego, lo siento mucho, pero aquí es de los juegos que estoy más jugando ahora mismo. Aparte de que probé la demo del Final Fantasy XVI, que por cierto te animo encarecidamente a que veas el vídeo que subí. Y bueno, como siempre en el vídeo de hoy vamos a adelantar todo lo que tenemos pendiente, que no es poco. Así que bueno, si no recuerdo mal, creo que es el de hay un médico en la sala, vamos a comprobarlo porque si no me da un parraque. Efectivamente, el de Baishu, el botánico, ¿vale? Y sería aquí que nos llevará a Liyue, y yo acabo de activar el ataque principal de la Shogun porque soy idiota, pero no pasa nada, mi gente, no pasa nada, me lo recargo rápido. Lo que quería era ir al mapa y luego ir a Liyue, en fin, no me hagan caso, por favor, no me hagan caso. Vale, voy a ir aquí porque me parece más práctico y así salto y vuelo. Es decir, hago esto. ¡Uy! En fin, será fin. Bueno, espero que hayan disfrutado de los últimos vídeos que he subido, que es el evento de Najida, la segunda parte, y luego algún videito así de Fortnite de la nueva temporada, que la verdad que está bien, está entretenida, pero poco más, la verdad, o sea, es meramente anecdótico. Así que bueno, vamos a ello.
What's your name, buddy? Are you here to buy some medicine? Where are your mom and dad?
Are you lost?
No, I'm not. My name's Ayu, and I'm here.
Hey there, Chi-Chi. Hi, Gray. What's going on? Hi, Traveler and Paimon.
You've
¿Cuánto
actually
tiempo,
come at the
Kiki?
perfect time. This little boy seems to have gotten himself lost.
No, listen to me. I'm not the one who's lost. It's my dad.
Tu padre, mi niña.
How does a fully grown man manage to get lost in Liyue Harbor?
Well, my dad's always been kind of forgetful. In the past, he was...
So...
She went out a few days ago to gather some herbs for my dad, but she still hasn't come back. Meanwhile, I remembered that the owner of Bubu Pharmacy always runs a clinic in Chingsa Village during the Lantern Ride. So I thought, why don't I take Dad? When we got to the city gate, I took a moment to ask the Millith guards for directions to the pharmacy. And then, when I turned back
Vaya con el
around,
viejo, qué
my
rapidez.
dad was gone. I asked the Millith guys to go find him, but he said they won't be able to send that many people. So then I figured, maybe I could ask some other people in the city to help.
You came to the right place. We're pros at finding people. Changshan can help. She has a good sense of... Hey! Who's talking about me behind my back?
Haha.
Shang, Chi-Chi meant that as a compliment. There's no... Hello, child. You mentioned that you were looking for the owner of Boo-Boo.
You have a talking snake? Oh, are you Uncle Baishu?
Uncle Bai.
Shang, now's not the time. My dear boy, could you tell me more about your father's condition?
Yes, Uncle... Doctor.
I see. And your family lives near Chingsa Village, you say? I visit...
Uh-huh. My mom doesn't like meeting other people, especially during Lantern Ride.
Is that Ayu? By any chance, is your mother's name Jiang?
Whoa, yeah, it is. Do you know my mom, Dr. Baishu?
I certainly do. Gui, Chi-Chi, are there any pressing matters in the pharmacy at the moment? Ayu's parents are old acquaintances of mine, so I would very much like to assist with this.
Don't forget us two. We already told Ayu that we'd help.
Oh, really? Well, that's wonderful. We are most grateful for your support.
Chi-Chi and I need to clear up the shop front first, but once...
Family is...
Thank you. Then I'll leave you to handle the pharmacy. Traveler, Paimon, why don't you come with me and Ayu?
Vamos allá.
They searched to the north, but couldn't find anyone who matched the description.
Well, that complicates things. The city folks say there's no sign of him either. We need to start looking further afield. But where are we gonna get the people?
Excuse me, sirs. Have you found out anything about my...
Ah, hey there, buddy.
The boy asked for our help, so we're here to join the...
Oh, thank goodness. We were just discussing how we're running out of manpower. As for updates...
The guards at the crossing up ahead said they hadn't seen anyone either, so we don't believe he was...
Luhua Pool? The terrain there can be tricky to navigate. Let's hope he
Sí, que
hasn't-
corre el viejillo, ¿eh?
You will? Oh, great.
Sorry we weren't able to find your dad, buddy.
That's okay. Thank you for trying. Dad! Dad, can you hear me?
Mhm. Vale, no es un viejillo, es un señor normal y corriente, pero con problemas de memoria.
Watch where you're going!
Jeje, jutao.
Dear customer, Wangsheng Funeral Parlor does appreciate your patronage, but... Huh?
Dad!
Hey, Hotel! My, who do we have here? My worst nightmare.
Mi mayor pesadilla, muy bien.
I see she still has...
Thank you, Director Who.
Dad, are you okay? Do you recognize me? It's me, Ayu.
Are you?
Your name is Jia Liang, and you live just west of Qingce Village. You were...
Oh, my name is Jia Liang.
Qué chungo.
Uh-oh. He seems in really bad shape. We need to get him back to Boo Boo. Sorry, Hotel. Gotta dash. Dinner's on us now. Hold on a second. You're not seriously thinking of taking him to Boo Boo Pharmacy in this state, are you? Huh? Why not? What's the... Come on, Baishu. Don't tell me you haven't noticed it. Why do I get the sense that you spotted them right away, but you're playing...
What?
What? What are you talking about?
There are traces of god remains in Jialiang's...
Yes, but more importantly, they're on the verge of an outburst. I'm on
Por la
fire.
cara.
What?
God remains?
There's no need to worry, Director Who. It is the sworn duty of all who practice medicine to cure illnesses and save lives. What reason would I have to neglect a patient in need who is besides? It was my late master's dying wish to be able to save this patient in particular. Perhaps out of respect for him, you could give me a day's grace so that I have time to treat him?
Qué cosa.
Now you're bringing my great uncle into this? Baishu...
Ostras, son familia.
This time.
Uy, uy,
Merely
uy.
to cure this man, nothing more. But of course, if you have...
Oh, really? I thought I was persona non grata at Boo Boo Pharmacy. You're okay, deal. We're not gonna solve anything by keeping Jiali on. I'm happy to do it your way, but only you must be pleased you brought the traveler along. Otherwise,
Well, time is of the essence. Blockages within the cardiovascular system. I see. I suppose this must have caused the cognitive abnormalities.
Dr. Baishu? How bad is it? Can you...
don't you worry. Baishu's a really great doctor.
Ayu, do you know when your father first started displaying these symptoms?
I'm not sure. He's been like this for as long as I can remember. But it wasn't...
So it's been a long time indeed. No, I have a treatment plan in mind. We can start tonight. Come and see me again tomorrow morning. I promise that by then, Ayu will find his father healthy.
Thank you, Dr. Baishu. Thank you so much.
If you still have any misgivings, Director Who, please feel free to hang around.
However, it would be best if you step outside this room. A doctor must be able to...
Yes, of course, absolutely. I'll just go and look at the flowers or something. But I will be back in an instant.
See you tomorrow, Baishu and Chung Chung.
Bye for now, everyone.
Are you ready, Baishu?
Ready as I'll ever be. I'm used to it by now.
Una rata.
Come on.
¿Qué vas a hacer, Baishu? ¿Qué vas a hacer?
All's well that ends well, huh? You know, Paimon's kind of curious after hearing Baishu mention those people from his past. What do you... Yeah, you must be curious too, right?
Hablar con Juta, por supuesto.
While I'm idling time on admiring the scenery, the spectacled, snake-bedecked docks doing... Hello, you busy bees, and what do you have? Actually, don't tell me. Let me guess. From the looks on your
La cara de
faces,
suficiencia.
Guilty as charged. Oh, and also, how come you and Baishu could tell so quickly?
Huh? I thought I told you once before. Wangsheng Funeral Parlor was first founded to fight back against the vengeful wrath of gods defeated in war.
No, no me acordaba. Vamos a ser honestos.
Well, it is a dusty old tale by this point. Long story short, in the ancient world, these days, we don't deal with the wrath of the gods anymore, but all the relevant know-how is still passed down to each generation.
Okay, Paimon gets it now. Wait, so...
Almost certainly from his master, who was also my great-uncle.
Hermano menor de mi abuelo. Son familia.
A former deputy director at Guangxi.
Wow, fancy that! Huh.
According to my grandpa, he and my great-uncle once went traveling together when they were young. That pharmacist must have cast some sort of spell on my great-uncle. Because after that encounter, my grandpa had a huge argument with him, but he couldn't convince him to stay. So my grandpa inherited the funeral parlor, while my great-uncle stayed in Chenyu Vale to practice medicine. They never spoke to each other again.
Funeral director to doctor is a pretty big career.
If he had just become a regular doctor, there would have been no issue. After all, the Wangsheng Funeral Parlor was... But according to my grandpa, the pharmacist they met had a very ominous aura about him. And on top of that, the kind of medicine practiced in the Chenyu Vale tradition...
In what way?
Don't know. My grandpa didn't know the specifics. And you've seen how wary Baishu is, but... Even that says to me that he definitely has something to hide. One thing I do know about Baishu is that he's obsessed with the idea of immortality. Anyway, so... I will be sticking around here for now to keep a close eye on the situation.
After all that, it seems like we have more questions than answers. Never mind. We'll just have to ask Baishu himself about all of this tomorrow.
Vale, como aquí se puede dar adelante, o sea, que pase el día, pues le vamos a dar.
It's
Caillou.
Dad, you remember me!
Yes, I remember now. Caillou, I'm so
What?
sorry.
Don't worry, Dad. I got the Adventurers Guild to help us look for her. And Dr. Baishu's gonna help too.
Great. That's wonderful. I can't thank you enough, Dr. Baishu.
My pleasure, really. It's the least I can do to honor my late master's dying wish. If anything, I should be apologizing to you for not making the time to visit in all these years.
Not at all, Dr. Baishu. It's only because Zhongli...
You're still in the early stages of recovery, so you'll need to take it easy for a while. Take it slowly.
I suggest you stay at Boo Pharmacy.
Director Who, do you have any further reservations about Jiali?
Seems like the evil presence is gone after all. You really did manage to suppress it, huh?
Lo habrás absorbido, lo habrás pulsado. Ahora me queda... me inquieta.
That would be a trade secret, I'm afraid. Though I regret to say that Boo Pharmacy cannot offer to reimburse Wangsheng Funeral Parlor for...
Oh, come on, Baishu. I'm not that unreasonable.
Suena que has absorbido eso, chaval. Qué peligroso.
I've been stuck indoors for too long. Baiju, take me outside for some air.
Yes, of course. Everyone, please excuse Qiangsheng and myself for a moment.
Suffering now, are we? Did you seriously expect to cover it up just by putting on a brave face and ignoring it? But in any case, why must you keep this a secret from everybody?
Who's there? Why did you follow us here? Oh, it's nothing. I just needed to get some air.
What did I just say about putting on a traveler? Paimon, the truth is, instead, he transferred some of his own life force to his patient to... Baishu, can you...
My predecessors in medicine forged a contract with Qiangsheng. Every successor to this contract is able to use Qiangsheng's secret art to treat patients. I believe the irregularities with Jialiang's heart meridian were likely caused. The poison has not been purged from Jialiang's system. Rather, I infused him.
Qiangsheng? You can do
Al
that?
final la serpiente no es tan inútil como parece.
No, is that you were just Baiju's strange choice of a name?
Sí, de hecho sí. Serpientes como bufandas. No lo podría haber descrito mejor.
Know that I commanded the respect of even the Adepti back in Chenyu Vale. If anything, I was treating patients with Baiju's master's master long before he ever set eyes on his first medical... Whoa. Guess you shouldn't judge a snake by its skin.
Please, that's enough.
Wait a sec. Who told us saying that the branch of medicine you...
Hardly. Qiangsheng helps to keep my...
Still, Baiju's life force is not unlimited. He must find a way to neutralize the poison in Jialiang's body. And soon. Traveler, Paimon, would you lend this dummy a hand? He needs someone... Baiju, don't you think you should seize this opportunity? You cannot expect to hide this from everyone for your entire life.
Time will see.
Entire life. Thank you, Traveler and Paimon.
Paimon doesn't think we've seen this side of you. But there's no need to thank us. You've helped us out before.
The poison in Jialiang's system must have accumulated over a prolonged period. I think... Yes. I asked Ayu this morning before you arrived. Let's head there together once I've asked... As well as investigating Jialiang's exposure to the poison, we should also keep an eye out for Ayu's missing mother. My fellow...
Inactivity serves no purpose whatsoever.
He visitado muy pocas veces esta zona, pero no me extrañaría que me encontrara algún cofre por aquí, porque no lo he visitado mucho, la verdad.
Whoa! There's a house all the way out here? Huh. It's so well hidden, Paimon.
Nor have I. And I've hosted clinics at Qingsa Village many times in the past, if you ask me.
Oh, that reminds Paimon. We meant to ask earlier, but it slipped our mind.
She was indeed. We studied medicine together under the... She is several years older than I and also began her travels far earlier than me.
Supposedly, she met an herb gatherer sometime during her travels and decided to settle. Wait, Changxiang, are you saying neither of you had actually met Xiaoliang or Ayu before all of this?
Jiang Li did occasionally come back to Chenyu Vale to see our master, but for whatever reason, she hardly ever talked about her family. The last time she visited us, she and master had some sort of quarrel. We never...
Quarrel? What happened? I don't know. I did not witness the argument myself.
Nor did master ever explain it to me. All he would say...
Oh, so that's why you went to such extreme lengths to...
No. Even if my master had never said anything, it would still be my duty.
Paimon never knew you were so selfless, Baishu. Paimon always had you down as the...
So a few words from me is enough to dispel all your suspicions? You ought not be quite so quick to relax your guard, Paimon.
What the... Okay, that's the most suspicious.
Let's leave the idle chatter there for now. Jiang Li has lived in this house for many... Let's split up. But if...
Traveler, Paimon, come quick! What is this?
Changsheng and I found a hidden compartment. This is what was hidden.
You sense it too? You're right. This is a poison concocted using... is it? Breathing?
No. Your eyes do not deceive you. I do believe the poison... Some toxins act a lot like living organisms. I read about this once in the origins and symptoms of diseases. This ancient class of poisons consists of mother. If it's a concoction of this kind we're dealing with, then both the poison in Jialiang's system and this one here are likely...
Offshoots? So, the main body is...
Correct. Whoever is administering the poison can manipulate the source to indirectly control the poisoned individual's behavior and even cognition. Similar...
All of the... Wait. So, back when Jialiang ran off, maybe that...
Only
amigo.
one thing could have been drawing him there. The source of the god remains you...
This is getting crazier and crazier. Hey, why is everyone... Since this poison was carefully hidden away in a secret compartment, the one you mean... Jialiang? What? Think a little harder, Paimon. Someone else who lives here. Huh? So you're saying...
What?
It was Jiang Li... Wait, but... That doesn't make any...
I agree. It makes little...
Look at the facts, though. How many people in the entirety of Liyue have the...
It's too early to draw any conclusions. We should question Jiao. Yes. According to the origins and symptoms of diseases, so if we can find and destroy the source of these god remains, the poison will lead... Do you know anything about god remains in Qingsa village?
Even the history books have... Didn't you used to be on good terms with the Adepti, though? Well,
Changsheng's memories and powers are not what they were these days. She has to enter a contract with a mortal and share their life force just to sustain...
Whoa. What? Enter a contract? Surely... Hey! Plenty of people would jump at the chance to join force with my assistance in rebalancing your chi. Not only can you extend your lifespan, but you
Ojalá yo tuviera eso, que no me sentara nada mal el estómago. F.
Stronger and healthier? Baishu, maybe when you retire, you can let Paimon sign...
Unfortunately, Changsheng's contract has strict requirements regarding the host's temperament.
Temperament? Hey! Ugh, Paimon's mad! You're getting ugly nicknames, both of you! Baishu, you're... Mannequin Man! This is exactly why your natural temper...
All right, everybody, calm down. Back to the matter at hand.
With how antisocial they are? If it were
Ciao?
up to them, they'd call their whole... What?
Seems you're as well connected as they say.
Oh. If you're talking about who Paimon thinks you're talking about, you better do the honors.
You called?
Oh, cosita. Cosita bonita.
It's Paimon every time.
He dicho ya que me encanta este sipeo.
All Adepti in the habit of materializing at a...
Well, this is unexpected.
Huh? It's you.
Baishu of Bubu Pharmacy. I do believe I've had the pleasure before. The Lantern Rite, when we met briefly, I was unaware of your true identity.
Huh? You two already know each other?
Our paths have crossed once before. I sense the presence of evil spirits. Is this why you called me? So someone has been concocted too often. Fervent desires drive mortals to abandon all regard for their own safety. I now know what you seek. It is true that a god's remains are buried. A vile monster known as the Ch once wrought havoc over this land. Before it was subdued by the land was finally cleansed of poison. When Rex Lapis used statues in his likeness, the seal is still mostly intact. If the Ch is the source, that it must be some of its blood leaking from deep un. However, its
Qué
aura is
siniestro todo.
faint and barely detectable. You will need to investigate. I do not like to intervene against mortals unless absolutely but when demonic forces are involved, things can spiral out of control. If that happens... Nothing. I do not wish to sway decisions that are mortals to make, but immortality may not be the blessing that you imagine it to be.
I shall treasure your words of instruction, Master Adeptus.
Vale, obviamente también estoy empezando a dar cabos igual que mi personaje, y es que tiene toda la pinta de que Baishu tiene los días contados por culpa del contrato con esta serpiente. En fin.
Farewell.
What a strange Adeptus. Well, that's here for ya. And thanks to him.
If the god remains are leaking from underground, Jiangli must be paying a visit to a...
Master? Master?
Wait? Did you run all the way from Boo Pharmacy?
Joder.
What happened? Don't panic.
Vaya
Just
maratón.
catch your breath.
It's Jiaoliang. He
Verdad.
was fine one minute and then...
Already? Based on past experience,
It seems... Everyone, back to Boob...
Dad! What's wrong? Dad?
don't be scared, Dr. Baishu.
How is he doing?
Dr. Baishu, you're back! My dad was doing fine earlier, but...
When Gui left, he was...
Gui, please take Jiaoliang to the back room.
Yes, of course.
Don't worry, Ayu. I will cure your father.
Baishu's not gonna use Changsheng's secret art again, is he? Is there really no other way to save Jiaoliang?
Volvemos a utilizar el reloj. Tic tac, tic tac, tic tac, tic tac.
How are you feeling, Dad? Are you still hurting it?
Much better, Ayu. Wait.
Master said he needed to take a quick rest and asked me to bring you out of the treatment room. He hasn't emerged yet, so he must still...
Al usar la magia pierde su propia vida,
Must
obviamente.
be tired from treating me for... I don't know how I can begin to repay him for...
No, the Adventurers Guild hasn't gotten...
I'll come with...
Don't forget what Master said. You're still not out of the wood.
No, on the bright side.
Traveler? Baishu hasn't shown his face ever... Huh? Hey! You're finally awake?
There was no time. I had no other choice. Jiangli's design is quite brilliant. She makes...
So, how much longer do you think Baishu... They've been outside waiting for you the whole time, like...
Oh.
Surely he hasn't. Who's talking behind our backs again? Ah! Baishu! Changsheng!
Of course.
Jiaoliang seemed fine yesterday.
maiden, and as a result, his life...
What? You mean...
Yes. But more pertinently, the poison in Jialiang's system is their Jialiang has a rare congenital heart condition, and ongoing treatment is essential to maintaining health. Though it was created from god remains, this formula is not a poison in Jialiang's case.
Had he not taken it all these years, he likely would have died along
Amigo.
Using poison to treat a disease is hardly a viable long-term... Moreover, the longer he relied upon this medicine, the more resistant his body became to it.
That explains why Ayu said his dad has been getting worse. And why his...
God remains are extremely dangerous to be around. Because humans have no natural defense against them. I fear that the situation is just as that Adeptus described.
I never suspected that even Zhang Li would turn to the same path to sacrifice one's own life to save others. To go beyond human means in order to do the...
Well, I think that in any case, I have stabilized Jialiang's condition for now. Her regular exposure to god remains over such a long period will have been catastrophic for her health. And given that she's already been missing for several days, I am fearing the worst.
It's me, Traveler, Dr. Baishu.
It's Jialiang! Don't tell Pai...
Dr. Baishu, please, you've already done so much for my family. After all, if it wasn't for me, she wouldn't have had to put her... I'm sure I'll be able to remember. I know there's a spot where she says...
Be careful. If you get too agitated, you're...
No! Before I forget everything...
This trip will be extremely dangerous.
I never expected to live this long in the first place. There's only one thing I fear now, and that's that I'll forget her again before we manage to find her.
Very well. Then follow me.
Puta. Genshin y los dramas. De verdad.
Dr. Baishu? Are you heading out again?
Yes. This could be a long one. Could you please add an extra measure of mistgrass pollen, and 1 dose each of the...
Doctor...
Hop to it now. And remember to be careful with the...
Okay.
It's just like the day I went missing. It's as if something inside me is trying to guide me somewhere.
The Motherlode's influence is growing stronger. But is it because we're getting closer to the source? Or because the leakage of... Jialiang, can you sense which direction the source is in?
I think it's... this way. Yes, I'm sure of it. I feel a dull ache in my heart. This must be the way. This place feels familiar. I think I've been here before.
There is an inauspicious presence here.
I think I remember this place.
Jialiang, are you okay?
No, I have to... Then let's...
Por supuesto, vamos allá. Tierra, necesito algo de tierra. Bueno, Noel, es tu turno.
Oh, how exciting!
Voy a utilizar a Baishu, ¿verdad? Pues te voy a quitar a ti, Coley.
I'm here.
Y empezar. Porque voy a estar con Baishu, así que lo dicho.
This place gives the digging marks here appear amateur and rather old. A thieves' tunnel? Paimon has heard rumors.
Judging by the tools they left behind, it's certainly a pop. But why did they abandon this place?
I remember now. But she said that the method would...
Easy Jialiang.
Bueno, a ver, ¿de qué pasta estás hecha?
Mind the side effects.
Illusion shattered!
No está mal, Baishu, no está nada mal.
Whoa, there's a sensor here. Those treasure hoarders sure made themselves at home.
I believe this sensor was used to burn a monster repellent.
A monster repelling incense?
The incense was burned several days ago. If I had to guess, no doubt an encounter with the very same entity was what... After them, Jiang Li was the next...
That's right. This sensor, it belongs... This is where... I told Jiang Li to give me the poison.
Jiang!
I'm fine. Let's keep going. I can feel it. We're getting close. Almost there. It's right up ahead. The place where we made a pact together to...
We can keep going now.
From the looks of it, the energy released by this mechanism can not only clear barriers, but also be conducted by corresponding mechanisms. Perhaps it's something we can use.
Vale. Vale. Espérate. No.
There is no escape! Now you shall perish!
As a dutifully made woman, leave it all to me.
Feel the beat! Illusion shattered!
Mind the side effects.
Vale. Para poder abrir esa puerta, claro. Tipo de amplificador seguramente, ¿no? Es eso. Exactamente. Comité de bienvenida.
The god remains must have lured them here. Watch my back. Mind the side effects. Seems like an emergency.
Shine down! Inazuma shines eternal! Amp it up!
Opening valves of the red light base.
Dr. Baishu, how serious is it? Is she...
I can still feel a pulse, but her condition is quite grave. The god remains here are encroaching on her cognition, much as the poison in your system did to you. If we don't eliminate it soon, then even if we save her life, I fear that she may...
Then what are we waiting for? Let's destroy the remains right away! It's not as simple as that. Don't you remember what Baishu said? The poison within Jialiang's body is inextricably linked to the god remains here. If the source is purged, the poison in his system will stop having any effect. And the poison within Jialiang's body is keeping condition under control. So, oh no.
Indeed. If the god remains...
I wondered when this day might come.
Wait! But we've all been working our butts off, Baishu. You're a great doctor. Surely you gotta know of some other way we can save...
You could continue to take the poison, which would buy you some time. As for Jiangli...
It appears to me that she was striving to concoct your medicine for you. Right?
Dr. Baishu, give it to me straight.
The god remains have reached her internal organs. Under ordinary circumstances, I would...
Dr. Baishu, I'm all too aware of the danger. If I continue to sustain my own life using this wretched substance, I know for a fact that I should have died over a decade ago. The fact that I've been around to see how you grow up, if my choice can bring Jiangli back, then... After cheating death for so long, Traveler...
Qué triste, tío.
Of course.
Thank you, everyone. And I'm sorry that...
Jialiang.
I am sure that over the years, Jiangli will have tried all...
Mortals are fated to grow old and pass on when their natural lifespan runs out. If it were so easy to combat the natural What a crazy situation! Jiangli risked it all to save Jialiang's life. And now, Jialiang...
I've seen many final farewells in my time. But I can...
In the human realm, all things must come to an end. At least, that's what generations...
The path they chose was indeed a heroic one. But when I think of those who would ruin themselves, I cannot help but think that they're...
When all this began, we agreed that once Ayu was old enough to help you gather herbs. If you could only see him now. So, I know that you'll both be okay without me. I've said my goodbyes. My time...
As you wish.
It will eat away at both your cognition and your memories.
I'll take it. At the very least.
Mom, something's really wrong with Dad.
Don't fret, Ayu.
Why would these memories come to mind now?
What?
The longer we live... Oh, how I would love to hear...
Jialiang! Jialiang! Jialiang!
Dad!
Uy, sobrevivió.
Jiangli.
What?
Huh? What are they?
How does it feel to come back to life?
Ostras,
Do you
¿qué ha
feel
pasado?
strange or different in any way? If so...
Dr. Baishu.
Die? You did indeed. As things stand now...
What?
Zombie?
That's right. Before we set off, I asked Chi-Chi to prepare an elixir of immortality. With its help, you have
Ay,
been
señor
suspended
bendito,
in
¿qué
the
has
space
hecho,
between
Baishu?
life and death. Of course, this is but a crude imitation of an Adeptus art. I don't expect it to... Whether it will keep you alive for a few days, a few months, or a few years, but however long you have left, I believe it should be more than sufficient time for you to say your final goodbyes before departing.
An elixir of immortality? How'd you cook that up? Ugh. Leave it...
It's a work in progress that hardly lives up to its name. And it would have had no effect were it not... In the end, I am merely a doctor. I understand all I know is that if I'm presented with a life that deserves to be saved...
Un poco macabro.
Even this would have counted for nothing without Director Who's assistance. After all, did you not tell Gia...
Oops. And I'm busted.
What?
Nudging things in the right direction. We may not have found Jiangli in time.
No wonder he didn't mention the elixir back then. I thought he was being frank.
Director Hu told me to keep her suggestion a secret.
Never underestimate us.
All I wanted was to help Jialiang find his missing wife as soon as possible, so that he could be on his way. Leave it to Boo Pharmacy to snatch the perfect opportunity right out of my hands at the last. One Chi-Chi was enough of a conundrum. The last thing I need's another one. If I'd known this was coming, I'd have whisked him off.
You stay away from my dad! When I grow up, I'm gonna become an even better doctor than Mom and Baishu.
Oh, is that right? Well, you wouldn't be the first person who's tried to put Wang Sheng... Paimon, I'll catch you all another time.
Is she final? All's well that ends well. If you ask Paimon, we should probably do something to celebrate at times like this.
It feels like it was a whole lifetime ago when I last talked with Jiangli and Ayu around the dinner table.
Yay! Paimon can't wait! Alright, first things first, off to the market for some fresh ingredients.
Wait up! I'll come too!
Baishu, thank you so much.
Don't mention it, Jiangli. I was
Just your duty, huh? But...
manejas a Baishu. Entonces se siente un poco extraño.
I've taken a look at your elixir of immortality.
I have to say, Jiangli, it was a stroke of genius to use poison to maintain life.
No, not at all. With your intellect, even if you'd never seen... But I'm still impressed by how quickly you managed to... Not just that. You even managed to improve... Baishu, be honest with me. Did you try out some of the poison on your...
Huh. Told you the truth would surface sooner or later.
Life force isn't the only thing that Changshan's contract lets you transfer between bodies, is it?
Nothing gets past you, Jiangli. You are correct. Besides life force, Changshan's secret art also allows for the transfer of toxin. When I treated Jia Liang for the second time, I transferred some of the poison from his body into my own. There is no need to worry about any long-term consequences to my health, however.
But you took such a huge risk. If we hadn't...
Ay, señor.
The reason I left our master and went into hiding all those years ago was that he was getting old. But in the end, how were my methods any different? I risked one life to save another. And then you... Are all disciples of Chenyu Vale destined to turn out this way? To live a short life, haven't given away our own for the sake of others? To fight relentlessly against the natural course of life and death, whatever the cost? Maybe our fate is sealed the moment we just...
Jiangli, we ought never say that anyone's fated.
Baishu, I can tell that over the years, you've used the contract. Can you still stop before it's too late?
I think you know the answer, Jiangli.
Hey, food's ready!
Mom, come and join us! The Traveler taught me a load of new recipes, and...
Yes, darling. Mom will be there in just a second. Baishu, I know I won't be able to convince Chi-Chi, Gui, and all...
There's no need to worry, Jiangli. I know...
I can only hope so.
Baishu, what did Jiang Li mean by not... Every single mortal I've ever contracted with, including Baishu and Jiang Li's... Wait, that doesn't make any sense. You said that the...
It is a very long story.
Long ago, when plagues ravaged the land, one doctor made a pledge to rid the world of pain and suffering. But even the most ingenious mortal medicine could not stay the tide of disease. And after working tirelessly for many years, even his dearest loved ones fell sick and bade their final farewell. Legends told of an herb lord in Chenyu Vale who could cure any illness known to mankind. The doctor sought the herb lord, but found only a white snake, its breathing weak and its power all but spent.
Sign this contract and let our lives be joined. Then I will impart to you the secret art of healing. But be warned, this art will harm your own health.
Vaya, vaya.
With means beyond human ken, the doctor could now reverse the process of death. And yet, the time still came to say goodbye. Only now, the one departing was the doctor, his life force spent. His final act in life was to pass on the contract to his final patient, his favorite disciple. The disciple chose to dedicate their life to saving the lives of
Un poco
others.
triste este destino, la verdad. O sea,
And generation
es loable
upon generation
porque te sacrificas a ti mismo para salvar otras vidas, pero es en plan, menudos riesgos, tío. ¿Qué pasa?
Since I inherited this contract, I've always respected the path taken by my predecessors, and followed it myself unquestioningly. That is, until I tried to use the art to save my own disciple's beloved. She begged me not to use up my own life force. She said that this art is a poisoned chalice, an evil and unnatural practice. She did not wish to sacrifice one life for the sake of another, when both were lives she treasured. Only then did it occur to me. Did I not suffer when my master passed away, just as patients' families do at their loved one's deathbed? Are not the lives cut short by this contract just as worthy of saving as any patients? What is this contract to us? Medicine or poison? Alas, I no longer have enough time left to find the answer. I entrust to your care both Changsheng and this final question. May you find a remedy for this conundrum, which has ailed us so.
Time and again, no matter how much I try to warn them or balance their chi, I can never save them. And you? What's your answer?
If I abandoned the contract and left you without a host, what would happen?
I suppose I'd spend my final moments taking a nice nap on Mount Yaojin. Then I'd be reunited with my old friends and your predecessors.
Then it's decided. If there's a life in front of me that deserves to be saved, why shouldn't I do everything within my power to save it?
Once again, it's the same answer. So be it. Close your eyes. Who knows how many more people will take on this contract?
None. This contract will end with me.
Yeah.
My contract has strict requirements on the host's natural temperament.
But when one with an altruistic nature gains access to this art, They are more seduced than the average person by the miracle of overturning though they know better than anyone else the fate that awaits them. When faced with the sorrows of humanity and the pain of losing their nearest and dearest, they cannot help but reach beyond human means. They are like moths that throw themselves into the flame, seeking a glimmer of hope in a dark world filled with pain.
So, Baishu,
Sí, tu destino es morir, básicamente.
I suppose that would make me a moth that yearns for the light. But Changsheng's art can transfer pain and suffering between people, but it cannot reduce the total amount of pain in the world. I have nothing but the utmost respect for my predecessors, who sacrificed their lives for their principles. But...
Huh? But didn't you already transfer a ton of...
What makes a poison, poison? And what makes a disease? If disease is defined as deviation from normal functioning, then who knows? Perhaps the true elixir of immortality. Many may view the notion of searching for immortality in poisons and illnesses as a flagrant violation of the natural order. But to me, it is no different from the way our ancestors tested the medicinal qualities of herbs. I don't want those who come after me to lose their lives to this contract. Nor do I wish for Changsheng to perish from losing her host.
Vivir
This
para
leaves
siempre.
only one solution, doesn't it? Precisely. I will be Changsheng's final host, and the tradition of passing down the contract will end with me.
Even the gods of old struggle to achieve true immortality. First you want to save others, then you want to save yourself.
But isn't wanting to have it all what makes us human? For a selfish moth like me, who's afraid of the flame yet yearns for the light.
Huh. For once?
Dr. Baishu, traveler! What are you still chatting about? The food's...
We also have coconut milk. Okay, fine. Let's go grab some food. Paimon has a bunch of burning questions, but they can wait till after we've eaten. I do envy Paimon sometimes. Eating her...
True. And yet, although we call them simple pleasures, are such things as these not precisely why we mortals cling
Y terminada. Un poco inquietante, no te voy a decir yo que no toda la historia esta de Baishu. La verdad que no se me habría ocurrido pensar de esa forma ni de coña, ¿eh? O sea, me refiero al desarrollo que le han dado al personaje y esa forma de pensar de la vida y la muerte, la inmortalidad y todo. Madre mía, en fin. Pues nada, hasta aquí el gameplay de hoy. Otra historia más, otro evento más de personajes que me voy quitando. El siguiente será... si me deja, será Yo y Milla, la segunda parte, porque ya hubo un acto 1, ¿vale? Así que nada, que muchísimas gracias por acompañarme a este gameplay, espero que lo hayas disfrutado y nada, nos vemos en un próximo gameplay, hasta luego.